Thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday here on ABC 10. I'm Austin Castro. Let's begin with a check of your weekend weather now with meteorologist Brendan Minchef.
Well, good Saturday morning. It's been a very stormy week, but we're finally at the tail end of this here. We're drying out. We're going to have some sunshine today, so we can start taking a look at some numbers. These are not the final storm total numbers for snow, but it gives us an idea of how much we have seen. Mammoth, almost 70 inches of snow as of Friday morning's recording, as of Friday morning's measurement. North Star at 61, Sierra at Tahoe 58, Sugar Bowl 54, Kirkwood 53 inches, Palisades Tahoe 50 inches, Boreal 43, the UC Berkeley Central Sierra Snow Lab near Donner 42 inches, and Heavenly 41 inches. So several feet of snow across the high country as expected. Rainfall as of Friday night, pretty impressive, honestly, 3 to 5 inches across much of the valley. As we look at that official observation site for Sacramento, though, it is under 2 inches. Notice the International Airport, though, over 3 1/4. Orangevale on the east side of town, almost 4 inches of rain. So it just depends on where that heavier rain was, and it just kind of turns out that the official observation site for Sacramento didn't really see the heaviest rain. But remember, the International Airport was under a flash flood warning for a little bit on Wednesday afternoon as a big thunderstorm rolled through, and the eastern side of town just generally saw more rain, which is why we have higher totals out there. As we go through today, though, not expecting any more rain. I actually expect some clearing, some sunshine for most of the afternoon. High temperature today, about 50 degrees. The average high is 55, so we're a little cooler than normal for the end of December. Drying out, though, that's important. That allows us to clean up as well. 50 in Sacramento, 51 in Stockton, 52 in Modesto, 48 in Jackson, 47 in Auburn, 38 in Truckee, 36 in South Lake Tahoe. We also had some very strong winds this week. Thankfully, we're not going to see any more of those. Actually, today and tomorrow, we could see a little bit of a north breeze. Better chances of that today. Through the afternoon, you see wind gusts maybe 10 to 20 miles per hour, especially along the west side of the upper Sacramento Valley. Similar story on Monday morning. It's going to be along and west of Interstate 5 where we're going to see those gusty north winds. As we look at Futurecast through today, a few clouds, maybe a few showers at times through the mother lode, but generally I expect us to be dry. No more rain or snow for the next few days because we're going to move into a more stable air mass. So today, drying out, some sun, about 50 degrees. Sunday, I've got some 40s and possible Thule fog, especially once those north winds die down on Sunday. We could see the return of gray conditions for the rest of this year. This low pressure system, as it moves out, going to give us some north winds today, a little bit into Sunday morning, but then high pressure builds in, especially by the time we get to later in Sunday, and then into Monday, Tuesday. That's going to bring us a more stable air mass, not a lot of wind, and because the ground is so wet from all the rain that we've just had, we could see some fog setting up, specifically that Thule fog. As we look towards the end of the year, though, again, some Thule fog through about New Year's Eve. But then by the time we get to January 1st and 2nd, we could see another storm starting to push into northern California, bringing us some showers to the valley and some snow back to the high country. But that's several days away. That's something we'll continue to track over the next 3 days. Again, going to be watching for that Thule fog to return to the valley by the time we get to Sunday. That's possible through New Year's Eve. Then we're going to start 2026 off with some showers and high country snow.
Thank you, Brendan. Now to our continuing coverage tracking the damage left behind as storms move through our area this week. ABC 10's Jenny Huh shows us how Sacramento residents dealt with the aftermath.
We have been up and down the Rio Linda neighborhood all of Friday afternoon. County officials tell us this is a really flood-prone area when storms like this hit. And right now we are in front of a bike path that is actually closed down because it is flooded. A lot of these dirt paths and open fields and dry creeks no longer dry because of these storms. There's actually so much water getting collected that it is overflowing onto nearby streets and roads, causing an inconvenience for the residents out here. Take a listen to what some of them had to say.
I am tired of the cold weather. I'm tired of the wind.
Amid the merry holiday lights and cups of hot chocolate, a stormy Christmas week continues for Sacramento.
And the county ended up getting a lot of presents in terms of over 100 service calls from people talking about inlets that were plugged, streets that were flooded.
Calls for service mostly related to road flooding, debris, and downed trees.
This back here is usually dry, so this whole street can be flooded.
We met with Sacramento County's Matt Robinson Friday afternoon in a Rio Linda neighborhood where multiple dry creeks and fields were flooding. This area, Robinson says, is high on their radar during storms.
If you see standing water on the road, turn around, don't drown. The whole idea is that you don't know what's under this water. The creek's rising quickly, and sometimes our drainage systems become a little overwhelmed.
Beverly McCarthy, who's lived here since 2003, says she has seen worse in the area, with the entire street being underwater.
This is made for floods. It's elevated, the yard, as you see, goes down.
Just sandbags and hope for not the worst.
Meantime, in Land Park, a cedar tree crashing through a family home on Christmas Eve. Witnesses say lightning caused the tree to snap in half.
Heard the loudest boom I've ever heard. I wasn't sure if it was a bomb. And then I look out the window and I saw a light strike a tree, it catch on fire, break in half. It was almost like slow motion for me.
The whole top of it came off, landed on the person's house, and so it was pretty devastating.
Recovery efforts began early Friday morning. Crews telling us the tree was 45 inches wide and 120 feet high.
It was the tallest tree in the neighborhood when the lightning struck. That's probably why it got hit by lightning.
Neighbor Sunny McCall says she's always noticed how big the tree was and that trees have come down in the area during storms before, though none of this scale.
It's beautiful in Lamb Park, but it's different than other communities like Elk Grove and Folsom in general don't have these trees.
Officials are emphasizing whether it's for those downed trees or over flooding roads, please call 311 so the right personnel can help you with your situation. Don't try to take care of it yourselves. They're also saying with the next few days expected to be dry, please take the time to storm prep ahead of time. In Rio Linda, Jenny Huh, ABC 10.
Turning now to East Sacramento, where a restaurant is shut down after someone broke in and caused major damage on Christmas Day. Brickland Restaurant and Bar on Folsom Boulevard said on social media the business was vandalized and suffered significant damage, forcing it to close until further notice. The Sacramento Fire Department said crews found fire and smoke damage and are treating the incident as suspicious. Sacramento police confirmed their crime scene investigators also responded for a reported burglary. This case remains under investigation. Now to a story of survival this Christmas. Earlier this year in March, a mother and wife had been leaving her ranch in Lodi when police say she was hit by a DUI driver. That driver died and the victim spent months fighting for her life. Now she's speaking out for the first time to ABC 10's Chris Thomas about the day that changed her life forever.
You know, he almost left my husband and kids without a mom or a wife because of the decision he made on March 23rd to get in drunk.
The story made headlines. 1 dead, 2 hurt after a crash along Highway 12 in Calaveras County. The victims, Crystal Robles and her husband, were airlifted to the hospital.
You know, my husband had fractured ribs, a fractured sternum, concussion, whiplash. He had a lot of injuries, but nothing compared to what I had. I was the worst. The seatbelt pretty much cut me in half because the drunk driver hit us at about 70 miles per hour.
Crystal says a portion of her colon and intestines had to be removed. She says doctors credit her years of weightlifting for helping in her survival.
You know, you always hear it's good to work out, but you never think.
Yeah, literally in this instance, it actually saved my life. The doctors had told me, he said, if it wasn't for as much muscle as you had built up over those years, he said it helped you in your recovery, it helped you in your it helped save you, basically.
She's thankful to be alive, but admits it's still difficult looking back at the pictures from that day.
And unfortunately, in our case, it was a young gentleman. He was 24 years of age, and he lost his life. And as harsh as it may seem, I feel like that was my justice because he had no regard for any human person, any human being on the road that day. It could have been a lot worse. I'm very lucky to be able to walk and be here because when I was airlifted, they told me that I pretty much arrived dead at the hospital.
She's now urging everyone this holiday season to be safe on the roads and never drive drunk or impaired.
Call a rideshare, stay where you're at, call a friend. It doesn't matter. There is no excuse in this world, in this day and age, for them to get into the vehicle drunk.
Now hoping her past and present can lead others to make the right decision. Chris Thomas, ABC 10.
CHP's maximum holiday enforcement period recently wrapped up Thursday night. During the 18-hour period, CHP issued over 2,700 citations and made nearly 300 DUI arrests across the state. Speed was also a major concern, with nearly 1,400 citations related to speeding. CHP adds 6 fatal crashes occurred, resulting in 8 lives lost. Well, California dismissed a lawsuit state officials filed against the Trump administration over the federal government's withholding of $4 billion for the high-speed rail project. Back in July, the Transportation Department slashed funds for the bullet train aimed at connecting San Francisco to Los Angeles. Then the High-Speed Rail Authority filed a lawsuit. However, this week, the authority said it would focus on other funding sources to complete the project, which is estimated to be more than $100 billion. A new potential ballot measure is floating around an idea that would include a major tax on the wealthy. The petition to get the measure on the ballot was approved. The proposal calls for California residents worth more than $1 billion to be taxed the equivalent of 5% of their assets. Now, if the measure gains enough signatures to reach the state ballot in November and wins approval, it will retroactively apply to anyone who lived in California as of the beginning of next year, 2026. In addition to that, those with $20 billion in assets who resided in the state on that date would face a one-time tax of $1 billion and have 5 years to pay for it.
Good morning, I'm Matt George. Well, now that Christmas is over, it's back to work for all our high school hoopers in the Sac Joaquin section. I spent my Friday evening on the campus of West Park High School in Roseville, catching a couple of games that were part of the West Park Winter Classic Tournament. The Antelope Titans girls basketball team has been a force to start this season. They've won 9 of their first 10 games and are coming off an overtime victory against Oak Ridge. Well, last night they faced the Del Oro Golden Eagles, who entered the game with an 8-1 record. Freshman Wyatt Kelly scores off the picture-perfect press break by the Golden Eagles there, followed by a strong take and this left-handed layup by Madeline Poe. But Antelope's offense was simply unstoppable, led by the scoring of Paradise Manning. What a great name. She hits that floater in the lane, followed by this beautiful reverse layup. You'll see with the crossover, buys herself some space, switch of the hands. That is a bucket, and she is just a sophomore. Her teammate and fellow underclassman, I'm talking a freshman, Shayla Taplin, shows off the range with the jumper. And sophomore London Odom takes the defender right to the rim off the dribble. The future is just so bright for this Titans team, but so is their present. They defeat Del Oro 78-53, improving to 10-1 on the season. Well, the very next game after that, the Intercom Tigers took on the always dangerous Whitney Wildcats. Now, Whitney has been known for their pretty dominant offense, but this Tiger defense was simply sensational. Here's senior point guard Tiana Hondara with the steal and the fast break dime to freshman Jayana Briggs for the bucket. When it comes to dribbling, well, the Tigers have themselves some experts, including freshman Tremaya Lawrence. She uses the hezzy to create some space and knocks down the three, and then she shows off her passing ability here. She's going to hit Delea Green for the triple. And check out this nasty crossover leading to the right-hand finish from Janiyah Johnson. Ooh, that's pretty. Completely froze the Wildcat defense. Now, Whitney had to scratch and claw for their buckets, but they did find a breakthrough a number of times. Senior Sydney Overton knocks down the catch-and-shoot three. And here, Lily Malloy shows off the Euro step, sliding past the defender who was trying to draw the charge and scoring. Whitney was held to just 29 points, while the Intercom Tigers scored 51, improving their record to 8 wins and 4 losses to start the season. Well, the Sacramento Kings return to action this afternoon, a 2 p.m. game against the Dallas Mavericks, and they'll be even more short-handed than they've usually been. Keegan Murray has been diagnosed with a mild calf strain, which he suffered in the first half of the Kings' loss to the Detroit Pistons back on December 23rd. Murray, who missed the start of the season with a thumb injury, will now be out at least a week before he will be reevaluated. That means the Kings are down 3 starters for today's game.
Thank you so much for joining us here on ABC 10, and we hope you have a wonderful weekend.